Doom Annihilation is the new film about the video game Doom. Previously there was an attempt to make a film of the game backstarring The Rock and Carl Urban that didn't go so well, and this is the next try at it. I think this is a better try, I just say that from the off. Even though calling your film Annihilation doesn't seem to bode well or be very clever, because obviously the last video game film that had that title, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, was crap. But this is much better. It's got nice sets, all the actors are okay in it. At no point did I feel there was any sort of weak point. It's definitely a B movie. This does not have mega bucks thrown at it, but they clearly put a lot of care and attention into trying to make the most of what they've got. The sets all look clean and good, and they look like sort of futuristic space station. The weapons look a little bit plasticky and lightweight, but ultimately, you know, they tick all the boxes with having the weapons from the game in there. You get early on shots with the chainsaw, you get the shotgun, you've got the sort of plasma rifle, and you're not made to sort of wait around for chainsaw kills, you know, like as if they're going to save that for the very end of it. They get that out of the way pretty sharpish. You also get the BFG, as you might expect, and they make a little joke about its name, as you might expect as well. The problem with this film is that, for whatever reason, they are still reluctant to just say that a portal to hell has been opened on Mars or one of its moons. They have got monsters in it, but they're not really monsters, they're aliens. And I'm not really sure why. I could understand that maybe with funding from certain places that might have religious views and that they don't want to say hell, but there's plenty of films out there that deal with the devil, demons, hell, so I don't see why this should be any different. The video game is pretty clear that it's a portal to hell that gets opened, that they are demons and monsters from hell that come through. And with this instead, you've got scientists on this base on a moon out around Mars that have found a stone tablet with ancient markings on it that corresponds to one on Earth, and they believe it's a teleporter. And when they try and use the teleporter instead, monsters come through that turn some of the researchers on the base into, well, monsters, sort of humanoid monsters. And I think that they've gone that route because it makes it easier to have people in makeup and costumes than it is to have big floating monsters and creatures as in the Doom game. So the initial monsters you get are the scientists in lab coats with some sort of vampire-y type makeup on, which looks good and it's fun, and they're sort of running at people and they're good cannon fodder. And then you get the other kind of monster you've got in this film, which is not a Hell Knight as in the game, it's more the imps that are in the game, so the creatures that jump around and shoot fireballs at you. It looks really good. It's a man in a rubber suit, but it looks great. They use CGI sparingly on that and it works well. You don't really get any other monsters or creatures beyond that, other than when the main character, Joan Dark, goes through the portal and ends up on the homeworld of the aliens, and she faces a fiery filled creature. You'll see it when you watch the film, but ultimately it's just a sort of shadowy outline of armour with flames in it, but it doesn't actually fight anyone or do anything. She just shoots it with the BFG and then escapes. The story itself, follows the standard route. Space Marines are sent to the moon and all hell breaks loose because they find out that the accident has happened. There's loads of little nuggets in it for people who want to find out all the sort of Easter eggs and that. You've got the character, one of the characters that they find dead is named after the character from Wolfenstein, one of the ID games. The chair that they have in the lab, I reckon, is a copy of the chair from Total Recall. There are lots of 2001 references with the name of the computer that they've got is Daisy. Obviously, the computer sings Daisy, Daisy at the end of the film, and it's an AI that goes against them in this film and in that film. And there's lots of others peppered through it, but I can't be bothered to sit here and just give you a list of all the things I noticed. I think it must have been filmed in Australia because a lot of the cast are Australian, and one of the stuntmen does a rugby tackle, and I mean, I don't want to be stereotypical, but you know, Australians, like English people, like rugby, and you can just see he's obviously played a bit of rugby, and it is a clear rugby tackle he does on someone, and it's just not something you ever see in American films with American stunt crews. But it just stuck out to me because probably because I've been watching so much rugby lately with the Rugby World Cup being on. It's definitely worth watching. I enjoyed it. It's low budget, but it's really carefully done. And I think if you're a fan of a computer game, there's enough in there to keep you entertained. Just don't go in expecting great things. Just look for an enjoyable hour and a half of a film that someone has actually taken a lot more care over than the previous version of it. This is not a sequel, by the way. It's a total reboot, remake. Yeah, and enjoy it. You know, if you know any more about the film, or there's any other sort of little Easter eggs that I didn't mention today that you spotted, put something in the comments, let me know, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks.